everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Liz, and today I am going to be doing a review best and worst of the contour palettes that I own. And I own quite a few contour palettes, definitely more than the average person needs, but I'm not the average person. I am a makeup collector, a makeup fanatic, and also a makeup reviewer. So I have quite a few, and I'm just going to go through all of the contouring palettes and also some duos that I have and share with you what I think is the best and the worst and for what reasons, because you might be looking for something for a different reason. You know, you might be looking for something that is very affordable or something that is extremely versatile. Maybe you are a makeup artist, maybe you just want like the bronzer and the highlighter, or maybe you, I don't know, what other situation could there be? Maybe you want something that's very travel appropriate. Maybe you want something that has removable pans that you can replace the pans in. Who knows? I'm gonna go over like all of these options and explain them to you. Maybe you want a lot of choices, maybe you don't. You know what I mean? Like maybe you want one that comes with a brush, maybe you don't. I don't know. Anyways, let's get into it. Okay, so the first one I have here is the first contour palette I ever bought, and this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit. This is their original contour kit. They have come out with more of these since. I think they have one now for medium dark skin and one for dark skin. I'm not exactly sure. I don't have any of those. This is the only one I have. But you can see this comes with 6 shades. You have your 3 sort of highlighter shades up here and then 3 contour shades up here. These 2 are matte, this one has some shimmer in it, and then all 3 of the contour shades are matte. I do really like this shade for contouring, and I also like these 2 shades for kind of mixing up to bronze up the face. That's really nice, so I do definitely enjoy this one. It does not have a mirror on the packaging, so that's kind of unfortunate. And it also has my favorite yellow setting powder. If you don't know already, you will know by the end of this video, I love to set my under eye area with the yellow setting powder. It's just brightens my under eye area. It works really well for my skin tone and I love it. So I love that this has that. And then I don't really use this shade a lot. Sometimes I use it for baking or highlighting other areas. And I like that it has this shimmery highlighter, although it's not extremely pigmented. Like it's not as shimmery or as pigmented as like it could be. Like, I don't know if you can see that. Like, there's a little bit of shimmer to it. It'd make a really pretty eyeshadow, maybe like inner corner brow bone highlight. But for a highlighter, I want a little more shimmer. That's just me. Also, these pans are removable, and I'm like 95% sure that you can buy them individually. Let me know in the comment section if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you can buy these individually. So if you run out of one, say like this one, which would probably be me, you can buy that individually and you don't have to buy a whole palette to replace it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of cool. I also like these because you can take them out and put them in a Z palette. So like if I'm traveling and I just want this shade or just a couple of these shades, I can put them in a Z palette. I don't have to bring this whole palette, although this palette is very nice for travel. It's very compact and very sturdy, so I like that, definitely. This is a good one. Next, let's go for a drugstore one. This one is by e.l.f. This is their contour palette. This has 4 shades in it, 2 highlighting shades and 2 contour shades. One of the highlighting shades is shimmery and one is matte, and both of the contour shades are matte. This one here is kind of the yellow under eye setting powder that I look for, although it's a little more beige than yellow, but it does still work for me, and I do really like this palette for travel and just as an inexpensive contour palette. It's really nice. It's awesome that the drugstore is coming out with more contour palettes, especially cruelty-free brands, you know, because that's me. I'm always cruelty-free, so it's nice that they're coming out with these, and I think this is a really good one. I actually hadn't used this highlighter very much until this past week. I started using it and it's really soft. You can see there, it's just like crumbling. So they are a little bit powdery, but they're still very blendable, and the pigmentation is there and they will last in the skin all day. So these are definitely a good product to have. The contour shades are very light. I think it would be awesome if they came out with one for darker skin tones, maybe with a more yellow under eye setting powder and slightly darker. At least this one could be darker for the contour shades, just because this one is like pretty much my skin tone. So it's a little bit too light for me, but this one works very well for contouring. And these also are removable, and e.l.f. has a bunch of different square 4-pan palettes like this. They have a blush, they have a couple blush palettes, they have a bronzer palette, I think they have a foundation palette, they have a highlighter palette. So if you have those, you can mix and match and put whatever you want in one palette for travel or whatever, which is really awesome. Next, I want to talk about this Tarteist contour palette. This has 6 shades in it again, and there are basically 3 highlighting shades, 2 contour shades, and a blush. What it says here is this: highlight, correct, contour, contour, accentuate. And then this one doesn't have a label, but it's basically a slightly shimmery highlighter. This one is almost like a setting powder. So the packaging is kind of bulky and kind of awkward. Being circular, I find it hard to travel with because it takes up so much space in my travel bag, and it's heavy and it's just kind of thick, but it is nice that it has this mirror. That's fantastic, and it's beautiful packaging. I mean, we know we love our beautiful packaging, right? I feel like this yellow setting powder is the least pigmented of all the yellow setting powders that I've tried. It doesn't carry a lot of pigment, therefore it doesn't provide any extra coverage, which is kind of unfortunate, but I still do like it. It's okay. And I like these contour shades a lot. Those work for me pretty well. This one is nice and warm for warming up the face, and this one is a little bit darker for contouring. They're not my favorite, but I do like them. And then this blush is beautiful. I love this blush. So this is like, if it was a better shape, it would be perfect for travel because you have these two contour shades, a really beautiful blush, the under eye setting powder, and then this nice highlight here that, again, I would prefer a little bit more shimmer in my highlights, but if I'm in a pinch, that'll work. It's really good for just providing an overall glow for the whole face. One issue that I do have with this palette is that the pans are not very big, especially this one. It's really hard to get a brush in there, so it's kind of challenging. I don't find myself reaching for this one that much. Next, let's talk about Too Faced. I have both of these contour palettes by Too Faced. This is the original one, the Cocoa Contour palette. Oh good, I have the brush in here. I don't think I have the brush in the other one. So this is the brush. They both come with this brush, which is just adorable. I love it when contour palettes come with brushes, or when any kind of palette comes with a brush. It makes me very, very happy. Also has a mirror, which again, I love it. So that's awesome. It's a little bit thick. The packaging is kind of thick, so that's something, but I guess it's to fit the brush in, I'm not sure. So this comes with two highlighting shades and two contour shades. This one is shimmery and the other three are all matte. This one does have pieces of kind of gold glitter in it, which a lot of people don't like. I don't mind it, but it is something that you have to be aware of that you're putting on your face. Like, it's gonna be like a light glow and then pieces of glitter. The contour shades are okay. This is really the only one that I would suggest contouring with. This one is so warm that it's more of just a bronzer for warming up the face. I think contouring would, I don't think that it would work too well for contouring. This isn't my favorite bronzer for contouring. I prefer the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, but this one, it does work. It does work. And this brush, not really a contouring brush, but definitely a good bronzing brush or blending out contour once you've placed it. It's good for that as well. And I haven't got a ton of use out of this light cocoa shade, so of the two contour palettes, this one is probably not my favorite. But the products in there are very good quality, so definitely, and it smells like chocolate. This one also smells like chocolate, of course. Same exact packaging, just different shades in here. So we have very unique contouring shades. I think these are both very kind of special, kind of different from what you see normally. And I kind of like it. I mean, this one's very, very dark. So if you're going for that intense contour, this is the one. And this one is also designed for medium to deep skin. I don't know if I mentioned that. And then this one is more, a little bit lighter, but I really like this one for contouring, and I kind of wish that there was like that warm one was in here too, because I do need a warm bronzer as well, but it's irrelevant. So I love that they finally put a yellow under eye setting powder, or a yellow powder in here. I use it for my under eyes. That makes the whole palette for me. For me, this is like one of my favorites because I can travel with this. It's, you know, it's a little bulky, but it's not too bulky. You put the brush in there and you get an extra brush with you. You get a mirror. I mean, I really do like this palette a lot. It smells like chocolate. It's amazing. And this highlighter is so beautiful. It's Cocoa Glow. It's so beautiful. So I really, really, really love this one. Okay, next let's talk about one more drugstore product. This is the NYX Highlight and Contour Pro Palette. This has 8 shades in it, again, 4 highlighting and 4 bronzing or contouring shades. This is the only palette I have mentioned that actually has 8 shades, and this is a drugstore product. All the other ones have 6 at the most. So I was just over the moon when I got this product, and then I tried it and I loved it. Again, yellow under eye setting powder, has my heart. And then you have this sort of matte beige highlighting shade that, again, I don't reach for a ton, but I do use sometimes. And then these two are actually shimmery, so you have more of your white light highlighter, and this one is almost like champagne pop color. It does have a little bit of shimmer, and it's not nearly as shimmery as champagne pop, or yeah, neither of these are really that shimmery, but they are a little bit shimmery, so I wouldn't recommend them for like setting the under eyes. But you know, for like a light highlight or for adding a natural glow to the face, they're very beautiful. That's a really pretty color. I love that one. The bronzing shades are awesome. I love this one for warming up the face, and then I like to mix kind of depending on what I feel like doing for contouring, but I love that they have fairly light and fairly dark in here. So it's a really good palette if you want to experiment with contouring, or if you do other people's makeup and you want a variety of shades, or if you just don't know where to start. This is affordable, really nice option. These pans are removable as well, although I honestly don't know why, because I don't think they're available individually. Are they? Let me know if they are. I don't think they sell these individually, and they're not magnetized, so they won't fit in a Z palette, but they are removable. So I'm not sure what the thought was behind that, but it's a fact. So yes, this is definitely one of my favorites. I am loving this one so much. And next I want to talk about one that is my least favorite. I think this is going to be a shock to people, and I'm kind of nervous to say this just because this product has a cult following, and I don't hate it, it's just my least favorite, the one that I reached for the least, and that is the Kat Von D Shade and Light contour palette. I know, I'm crazy. The packaging is pretty nice. It's got this weighted cover here with a mirror, and then it has your 6 shades, 3 highlight, 3 contour as standard. The first thing that I don't like about this palette is the shape. I find it very hard for me to get my under eye setting brush in here. That's one of the reasons why I don't reach for it that often. It's just a weird shape. This shade, like, I really want to love this shade, but it just doesn't work for me for anything. I don't use it at all. This one almost seems ashy to me, and then the bronzer shades are nice. The one thing that I have noticed with this palette though is that this is the only one where I've gotten hard pan on these shades. Now it's not showing up because I actually just swatched these for product shots for the video and I like wiped away all the hard pan, but I get hard pan, which if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like when your powder gets almost like a plasticky film over it and it doesn't pick up product anymore. That happens with this palette, and I don't know why, and it hasn't happened with any of my other ones, but it happened with this one. So for that reason, and the size of the pans, and just the particular color selection, I don't reach for this one as often. Alright, I talked about my least favorite. Let's talk about my favorite now. This is my much loved, much used Lorac Pro Contour Palette. I adore this one. This is probably a tie with the next ones, but yeah, I love this one. So here is the brush that this one came with. It's really nice. It's like a contour brush. It's kind of domed here, and it's really soft, and I just really love this brush. So I just love the fact that it came with a brush. I think that makes it so much worth it. That makes it so much more worth it when it comes with an extra, like a brush that is a good quality brush. So again, this one has the 6 shades. It has 3 highlight, 3 contour. These 2 highlights are smaller. This one is bigger, which is kind of neat. So you have beige highlight, yellow highlight, and shimmer highlight, which I think is a really good formulation for a contour palette, to have 1 beige, 1 yellow, and 1 shimmer. And then you have light, deep, and medium, and they made the medium one the biggest one, which I like because the medium one for me is kind of the one I use the most, but also the one that I use to mix the most. So I might use a little bit of the light, a little bit of the dark, and then the medium is the most that I use. Does that make sense? There's not really like a bronzing shade in this palette, but when you think about it, it is a contour palette, not a bronzer palette, so it makes sense that all the shades would be designed for contouring, not for bronzing. So that's just something to keep in mind. The mirror there, I love it. The packaging is not the sturdiest, but it is very slim and nice for travel. Just be careful that you don't put anything too heavy on it, or you could break your powders, or you could break the mirror, so something to note. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. So, and you can also, I don't know if you can actually see, but I can see that I have like a dip in the yellow one right here. See that? I'm proud of that. I am like really close to hitting pan on that. That's how much I love it. These powders are so soft. They're just like the Lorac eyeshadows. They are so soft and creamy. They blend into the skin beautifully. They don't look powdery at all or cakey or anything. I just love it, especially under the eyes when you want to be really careful about not being cakey. I love this one. I love it. Okay, lastly, another favorite of mine, this is actually 2 products, but I kind of use them in conjunction, and these are the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Contouring Palettes. So I have Caramel Toffee and Dulce de Leche. So Caramel Toffee has this very warm bronzer shade in the yellow setting powder, and then Dulce de Leche has the cooler toned bronzer and the beige setting powder. I love these so much. First of all, they're Wet n Wild, so they're affordable. They're so inexpensive. You can find them at the drugstore. It's awesome. And look at the size of these pans. I mean, they're huge. Like, they're huge. You have no trouble fitting your brush in here, whatever kind of brush you use. I love that so much. That's like one of the main reasons why I love these. And the quality is amazing. This yellow under eye setting powder is really, 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 really nice. It's like the most yellow of all the powders that I have, I think. At least one. I think this is the most yellow. Like, this is the most brightening under eye setting powder. It's a little bit powdery, so you know that's what you get with a drugstore product, but it's very pigmented, and and it does blend into the skin very well. The way that I use these palettes, and the reason I kind of consider them one, I always use the yellow to set under my eyes, and then I definitely use this one for contouring. Then sometimes I will use this one to highlight other areas of my face, and this one to bronze, like the outer parts of my face, kind of warm up my face. So that's how I use this. So to me, this is like one palette, even though it's technically two products. But I mean, they're both very slim and thin. I like that they have like a flat top here, unlike their Reserve Your Cabana highlighter that has like a dome top. I hate traveling with that one. These are really easy to travel with, and I just absolutely love these. So I'm ending on a drugstore note, a happy note. I absolutely love these completely. Alright guys, those are all the contour palettes I have to share with you. Please let me know what your favorite contouring palette or product is in the description box below, because I always like to try new ones. You know, I am always happy to try them, so let me know what you love. Make sure you're subscribed. I post videos at least 3 days a week here on my channel. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you like this kind of best and worst theme, maybe you would like me to do one for highlighters or eyeshadow palettes or highlighter palettes or blushes, or let me know what you would like for me to do, because I have a large collection of makeup and I love sharing it all with you guys. So let me know what I can do for you. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you all, and I will talk to you again very soon. Bye.